and Johnny Cannon from this Disney photo. This is 1931. Again, they've won some awards. And this is the Berghoff of 1938. And you can see the strong resemblance between Les Clark and this young man who's hanging on top of Gretel Braun. And here's Johnny Cannon over here. And this is a remarkable resemblance. They've slicked back the hair on both these guys. And here you can see the ruddy color and the same strong features. Here he's got his lip out a little bit, which could be a little bit deceptive, but you have the same two gentlemen in both pictures, and I call them partners in crime. This guy is Frank Thomas, and I don't want to belabor this, but oops. But here's three different pictures, and this is the same gentleman as over here. This is both Frank Thomas. All three of these are Frank Thomas. And you can see there's some age variation, and this is very likely the same fellow. This is Ted Sears, and again, here's the Disney picture, and he really doesn't look all that much like the guy at the Berghoff. However, by definition, this is Ted Sears here, and this is Ted Sears. It says here he worked in Story. I think he also worked in the business office. But by definition, this 1, 2, and 3 are the same gentleman. And you can see here that he looks remarkably more like Ted Sears in this picture and also in this one. Well, this is 7 years earlier. He's a younger man, and it does look like they have attached some prosthetics. This is a famous picture called The Crying Frenchman of World War II, taken on June 14th, 1940. And there's a guy here who turns up in the background. And can you find this man in this picture here? Hit the pause button if you want to try it, and we move on. And he is over here. And this is a very good likeness. I think we did a pretty good job. It's a gentleman named Ben Sharpstein. So here's Ben Sharpstein, and here's the Crying Frenchman, Ben Sharpstein. Here's a side profile view of Ben Sharpstein. And you can compare it over here. When you start doing facial recognition, you start to be able to rotate people in your mind. Here he's rotated 90 degrees, and I think it's a pretty good likeness. Sorry. This is a Nazi named Philipp Bouhler, Nazi party official, and killed 70,000 handicapped adults and children. Now, these children and adults killed in Nazi Germany were murdered. These people were murdered, but not by this guy. He didn't do it. And here he committed suicide on May 19th, 1945. And why does he commit suicide? So nobody's looking for him. The real guy who did all the atrocities, you'll never know who he is. To get the records on that will be nearly impossible. And they use an actor instead to play the part of whoever it was responsible for these murders. But this guy didn't do it. How do I know? Because he's in this picture. So find Philipp Bouhler, hit the pause button. This one is easy. And there he is. He's a guy named Floyd Gottfredson. And you can see the remarkable resemblance between the two men, including the hairlines over here. Now, here's two other pictures of Floyd Gottfredson. So these three are Floyd Gottfredson. This is Philipp Bouhler. If I had found only these two pictures of Floyd, I don't think I would have been able to necessarily make the connection with Philipp Bouhler as easily. I think this picture here, which again I call it the Disney picture that should have never seen the light of day, and that's for a good reason, is the photo shoots they did for the Nazis was approximately the same time as they took this Disney picture, and the woman who posted the picture had no idea that she was posting a picture full of people who played Nazis. So here's another picture of Floyd Gottfredson, and this one is remarkably like him in this picture. And I didn't alter the images at all. I didn't Photoshop them or squeeze them or fatten them or whatever. But here I've reversed the image so the people who like to look at ears can check it out. But I mean, this is no accident. You have a picture of Mickey Mouse here. There's sort of a near swastika over here, and he's got his hand up doing a hello, how are you? And remarkably too similar to a Sig Heil. And you got to remember that most of the people involved with this are not ashamed of what they did. They consider themselves heroes. They're considered heroes. And here he's unabashedly posing with a picture of Mickey Mouse with a Sig Heil, and you got to believe that there's a bunch of people out there who knew exactly what was going on in this picture. They leave clues everywhere. This is somebody named Ernst Kaltenbrunner. He's a Nazi, crimes against humanity, mass murder. And I mean, you can see terrible looking scars and all this horrible looking stuff. But, really makes a mistake in this one. They've got some kind of like putty they've applied to the nose. It's way too smooth and it's got an edge and border here. So you can see they've added all these prosthetics, and this turns out to be one of the prettiest men in Hollywood. And can you find him, excuse me, in this picture? And he turns out to be a employee named Webb Smith, and there he is. And here's Webb Smith in another picture at a meeting. I think this is Ted Sears. There's Walt Disney. And here you have Webb Smith over here. And here's Ernst Kaltenbrunner. Again, Ernst has got the chin prosthetic and these horrible looking scars and this nose material they've slapped on. And you get a pretty good idea that the ears are sort of similar on this one. Somebody does biometrics, could really pull it together. But again, shape of the head, shape of the face, and we have a pretty good match. This is the same gentleman who plays Leslie Howard in Gone with the Wind. He was Ashley Wilkes. So we have two Gone with the Wind people at this point. He will also turn up later on in a very not so cool role that they should have been more careful selecting people to play Americans and play Nazis earlier. So, and here, Leslie Howard and Ernst Kaltenbrunner. We find this Disney group photo, and it's chock full of very famous people. This one we just saw Leslie Howard, over here Peter Lorre. Um, yeah, I suspect I know who this guy. I'm not going to put it out there at this point. I didn't research it enough. This is a very famous actor who is Henry Fonda, and I think I have Robert Mitchum at this table. You won't be able to pick him out. And there's probably a bunch of other people. And I love this picture of Henry Fonda. I haven't found him as a Nazi, so I can still enjoy him. But he's sitting there. Everybody else is sort of focused on whatever it is they're supposed to be doing in this group stage photo. He's like, in there, I'm Henry Fonda, but whatever. All right, but let's look at this guy here for a minute. Possibly the most interesting person at the table, with the exception of Walt Disney. His name's Anthony Pipolo, and do you have any idea who else he is? All right, boom. Anthony Pipolo was also Aldous Huxley. So this is the guy who played Aldous Huxley, Aldous Huxley wrote a novel called Brave New World, which is a novel about a dysphoric future, about the New World Order. And New World Order is a complex ideology about a one world government. And this is some of what the ideology is of these people. And, uh, and you know, they won't stop at anything to form this one world order. It's on the back of our dollar bill. It has no business being there. Novus Ortum Seclorum, and there's a pyramid on there. But here is a Disney employee, Anthony Pippolo, and he is Aldous Huxley. That's just another slide here. Here we have Hermann Goering, founded the Gestapo, did other war crimes. And can you find him in this picture? You hit the pause button. And Albert Herder. So this is him. Now there's another man out there who does facial recognition, who's a genius, who has assigned Hermann Goering to somebody else, and I think we're going to differ on this one. I think I'm correct here, and I have the other person who will not appear in this set of videos. So again, Hermann Goering, Albert Herder. This is Heinrich Himmler. This is a German, a Nazi. I don't know how anybody sat around and looked at this guy and didn't at least consider the fact that he's Japanese. So this is the architect of the Holocaust, Heinrich Himmler, and the man is not German. The man is Japanese. I mean, maybe half German, but these are Japanese features, and they've added some prosthetics and whatnot. So, you know, I'm trying to find who he is, and I have a couple ideas, but I have not nailed this down. And he may turn up a little bit later, but this man is Japanese, and this is the architect of the Holocaust. This is Rudolf Hess. I don't have exactly what he did during the Holocaust. He's not in that photo of Disney, but we do find that he is a gentleman named Herb Ryman. If he's not Herb, then he resembles him beyond belief. So let me just show you. This is the picture here. I stuck this in here. This is Rudolf Hess, Herb Ryman. And what they did with the hair is they flipped his hair over to the other side. And this flip, which is naturally falling down on the head here, now flips upward. And it's the same thing here. So it's the same guy, same facial structure, same hair, some eyebrows. I mean, they really didn't do a whole lot makeup-wise to disguise him, not like Leslie Howard and Ernst Kaltenbrunner, where they put scars. Here they just flip his hair over and maybe gave him some darker eyebrows. I didn't put up the picture. If you look at Hogan's Heroes, there's one of the generals who looks very much like Rudolf Hess, and my suspicion is that Herb Ryman also played him. I think it was General Burkhalter. I didn't put it up there. I don't have enough evidence, and it's not the focus of this, but I'm sure everybody has a good laugh on that one if I'm correct. Irma Grease is